Good evening, friends. Today I'm going to explain about the osteology of the what is this humerus. Okay, so first you must see this is the upper end and lower end. Okay, so here first you must in the upper end you can see this is non-articulating surface. Okay, non-articulating surface is separated by the articulating surface. This is articulating surface. So by this you can see here this line ridge called as this is called what anatomical neck. This is the anatomical neck of the humerus which separates the articulating and non-articulating surface. Okay, next this part you can see here, this somewhat elevation is called lesser tubercle, and this big portion is called greater tubercle. This is lesser tubercle and greater tubercle. Okay, next you can see between lesser tubercle and greater tubercle a depression called as intertubercle sulcus or bicipital groove. Okay, now below this greater tubercle and lesser tubercle, this is greater tubercle, this is lesser tubercle. Okay, greater tubercle, lesser tubercle. Below it you can see this is called surgical neck of the humerus. Okay, next coming to the lower end, this is anterior side, this is posterior side. Okay, anteriorly this you can see right here, this is called capitulum, and this is called trochlea. Okay, above this you can see radial fossa, and above the trochlea you can see coronoid fossa. Understanding? Next you can see posteriorly you can see this depression called as olecranon fossa. This is called olecranon fossa. Okay, now you can see here this is capitulum, and this is radial fossa. Radius bone means radial means lateral side. This is called here lateral epicondyle. Okay, and this is called medial epicondyle. Medial epicondyle is more prominent in hand. Now this is the upper end and the lower end. Now how to determine the side? So this olecranon fossa should be backwards, and this humerus, this head of the humerus should be placed medially. So for me, see, if I keep like this is anterior side, this is posterior side. So this fossa, olecranon fossa is what it is posteriorly, and this head is medially. So you can see this is medially. If I keep like this is the right humerus. Okay, now coming to the attachments. Okay, here, and one more thing here, if you keep in anatomical position, this lesser tubercle is there. Now this should place what is that? Yeah, lesser tubercle. This is lesser tubercle, right? And this is greater tubercle. Lesser tubercle should face forward. When you keep in anatomical position, lesser tubercle should face forward. Okay, greater tubercle also will be somewhat forward only. Next, coming to the attachments in the upper end. Okay, this is lesser tubercle. There is an attachment of the, that is insertion of the subscapularis. Okay, subscapular, where it get origin from the scapula and get from the costal surface of the scapula, from the subscapular fossa. So subscapular is insertion to the lesser tubercle. So here greater tubercle, you can see three attachment of muscles, that is supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor. All three insertion, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor insertion in the greater tubercle. Next, this is the bicipital groove of intertubercle sulcus. So coming to the lower end, you can see here this is capitulum, right? This is trochlea. See this somewhat elevated trochlea here, it is somewhat elevated. Frenulum of the trochlea is somewhat elevated, which gives the carrier angle, which is more in the females. When the ulna get attached here like this. This humerus and the ulna will not be in the straight line. Somewhat angle will be there from here to here. This is called as carrier angle due to the this extra length of the frenulum. Okay. Now coming to the medial epicondyle. This is medial epicondyle, right? Gives origin of the common flexor origin. Okay. Now this is lateral epicondyle. This is a common extensor origin. Next, above the medial epicondyle, there is a medial supracondylar ridge. This part is medial supracondylar ridge. Gives origin for the pronator teres. What is this? Pronator teres gets origin from the medial supracondylar ridge. Okay. Next, here lateral epicondyle. Above this you can see the lateral supracondylar ridge. Gives origin for the brachioradialis here, and down extensor carpi radialis longus. Understanding? Both are origin. Now coming to this bicipital groove. This is bicipital groove. You can see this. There is a lateral lip, medial lip, and floor. Leading between two major is the mnemonic. So laterally you can see the pectoralis major. Medially by the medial lip, origin of the teres major. Lateral lip, origin of the pectoralis major, and floor, origin of the latissimus dorsi muscle. Okay. Now coming to the shaft. Here shaft, upper end is round, upper end, and lower is somewhat triangular in shape. So this can be divided. This is anterior border, this is a medial border, this is lateral border. Understanding? Okay, anterior border and medial border, there is a medial surface, and between the anterior border and the lateral border there is anterolateral surface. This anterolateral surface, and posteriorly you can see the posterior surface. Okay. Now in the mid of the shaft of the humerus you can see a V-shaped tuberosity. This is called V-shaped tuberosity. This is called deltoid tuberosity. What is the use? Deltoid insertion will be taking place here. Okay. Next, this is laterally, just medial to it here. Just medial to it, you can get an insertion of a coracobrachialis. Okay, you can see the insertion of see, it is like this, right? Yeah. So just medially here there is an insertion of coracobrachialis opposite to the delta tuberosity. Delta tuberosity is laterally V shape. Medially you can see the insertion of coracobrachialis. Now coming to the lower side, you can as I said, that is anterior border, lateral border, medial border, and lateral border, and surfaces anterolateral, anteromedial, and posterior. Anterolateral and anteromedial gives the origin of the brachialis muscle here. Brachialis. Okay, here and here, brachialis muscle will be getting origin. So posteriorly, if you come here, you can see this somewhat groove-like structure. This is called spiral groove, or where a radial nerve also comes here, and profunda brachial artery also come there. Okay. So above the spiral groove, there is an origin of the lateral head of triceps, and below this, there is an origin of this spiral groove, right? Above it, there is an origin of the lateral head of triceps, and below there is an origin of the medial head of the triceps, and long head origin from the infragluteal tubercle. There are three heads of triceps: long head, lateral head, and medial head. Long head from the infragluteal tubercle, and lateral head above the spiral groove, medial head below the spiral groove. Okay, all origin. And last, here this is olecron process, and this is what you can see, lateral epicondyle. Behind the lateral epicondyle, here you can see the origin of the anconeus muscle here, anconeus muscle. So thank you. This is about the osteology of humerus. Hope you understood. Thank you.